Wow, look at this main room RM Sotheby's. Wow, look at this. Incredible. I love the big screens here behind all the cars. Holy moly, I am blown away. Wow. Hello everybody, welcome to Monterey. I'm a guest with RM Sotheby's at their annual Monterey auction. It's one of the biggest auctions of the year. I'm in this absolutely incredible room. Just look at what I'm surrounded by. I'm completely blown away. I'm really looking forward to this. Let's get into it. In one of the most unforgettable car weeks, RM Sotheby's delivered a record-breaking sale, raking in an astonishing $154 million. The star of the show, it was this breathtaking Ferrari 250 California short wheelbase, which sold for $17 million. But it didn't stop there. This Ferrari 410 Sport sold for $12.9 million. Another 1959 Ferrari 250 California sold for $5.6 million. And this neoclassic 1995 Ferrari F50 reached an impressive record-breaking $5.5 million. With each sale, another chapter in the rich history of these iconic cars was written. So let's take a look at these pieces of history before they disappear into private collections forever. Now, before diving into these remarkable cars, I want to mention that RM Sotheby's made two major announcements during Car Week. One of these was the highly anticipated junkyard sale. This features the legendary collection of Rudy Klein. This collection is an extraordinary treasure trove of long-forgotten automotive parts, as well as some of the most exceptionally junked cars of our lifetime. Among these are three unrestored Lamborghini Miuras, the only black 300 SL alloy ever produced, and none other than Rudolph Caracciola's iconic Mercedes 500K. RM Sotheby's had two of the Rudy Klein junkyard cars displayed in Monterey. We'll have a look at the Mercedes 300 SL and also Rudolph Caracciola's 500K, which is undoubtedly the most exciting barn find of the year. Now, this will probably be an upcoming winner for Best in Show at Pebble Beach. In fact, it's appeared twice at the show already, once in 1966, again in 1978, and that was likely the last time it was really seen in public. That's roughly when Klein bought the car, and he just stored it away along with all these other cars. Now, Caracciola was known as the Rainmaster. He was gifted this car from the Nazi Party for his incredible results in Formula One. And after he drove a Grand Prix W125 268.9 miles per hour on the Autobahn, it is still the fastest speed ever achieved on a public road. Naturally, Caracciola's car was the best available in the period with its 8-cylinder supercharged engine and custom special coupe bodywork. It also used a raised roofline to accommodate Caracciola's size. Now, the idea with this car was to use Caracciola's celebrity in combination with his incredible design to use in advertising and event publicity for Mercedes-Benz. Now, also from the Klein junkyard, RM had this incredible 300 SL alloy on display. This is car number 26 of only 29 examples produced. What's particularly special about this one is it's the only one delivered in black, and black paint is an incredibly sought after commodity in the collector car community. So I think in the fall when this goes to auction, it's going to sell for a very big number. Now, RM Sotheby's report this as having its matching numbers: engine, gearbox, rear axle, steering box, and front spindles. Furthermore, the body number 26 is found on the doors, the edge of the dashboard, interior of the roof panel. RM Sotheby's say extremely few of these often raced, often wrecked competition cars survive so well, and that's because Klein held on to this car for over 50 years. Now, if that wasn't enough, RM also announced a partnership with the Indianapolis Motor Museum to really sell their crown jewels, including this ex-Sterling Moss, ex-Juan Manuel Fangio, legendary 1956 W196 Mercedes Streamliner. It's going to be an unprecedented sale. They're also selling their Le Mans winning 250 LM, so look out for that later this year. let's look at our first auction car, this 1960 Ferrari 250 GT California Spyder, chassis number 1795 GT. This is the first of only 56 short wheelbase California Spyders, and it is fitted with one of the most sought after features, a competition spec Tipo 168 engine. Ferrari even labeled it Motore Competizione on the factory build sheet, and some people call this a prototype because it's not only the first short wheelbase, but it also has a unique dashboard layout. Originally finished in Grigio, a sleek gray over red leather, this car was first seen at the 1960 Geneva Motor Show, so it's a motor show car. Certified by Ferrari Classics Red Book for retaining its original engine, gearbox, and drivetrain, this is one of the most significant and valuable California Spyders in existence, so it fetched just over 17 million US, making it the most expensive sale at the event and the weekend as a whole. Continuing the Ferrari theme, let's have a look at this 1967 275 GTB4 NART alloy. This car appears just as it did when it was raced by Sam Posey and Ricardo Rodriguez to get first in class at the 1969 24 Hours of Daytona. In preparation for the race, the car was modified for the North American racing team, and it had modifications like the bumpers removed, side exhaust fitted, intake trumpets replaced the air cleaner, 15-inch wheels, an outside filler cap, twin electric pumps, spotlights in the front, and a roll bar fitted. What we see here is the result of a 2024 cosmetic restoration by Motion Products Inc. back to its Daytona livery, including the factory appointed color combination. Now, RM says with its matching numbers engine, gearbox, and coachwork, it sold for a colossal $5.285 million US dollars. Next is this 1955 Porsche 550 Spyder. I love these little cars. They're lightweight, 1,200-pound race cars with lightweight aluminum bodywork, tubular chassis, and the 1500cc 4-cam engine, which is so legendary. Now, this is the second to last, the penultimate of 90 cars made, and this was originally built for importer John von Neumann on the West Coast. It had well-known competition history with Richie Ginther, but at the auction, it failed to meet the reserve, and it was a no sale. Going back in time, we're having a look at this 1932 Delage D8S Roadster by Pourtout. This is a very exciting concours d'elegance piece with elegant French lines that hasn't been seen in over 30 years. Now, this is chassis 36009, one of 99 D8S examples in the world that have the 4-liter, 8-cylinder engine that produced about 120 horsepower. Now, this unique and original coachwork by Marcel Pourtout is really exciting. It predates the hot rod trends with that clean design, no door handles, sleek proportions, that extremely long hood line, and a very low-cut 5-inch windshield. Sothebys says this retains its original engine, chassis, and body, and that's why it sold for a very remarkable $3.3 million US dollars. Headed to the back of the room and look at the spectacular cars in front of me. Now, I want to focus in on a real jewel, this 1953 Fiat Autovu 8V with supersonic bodywork by Ghia. It's so incredible. It's one of only 14 Ghia Supersonics built, and it really showcases the jet age body design by Giovanni Savinuzzi from Ghia. Now, this one has a really colorful history. It was first ordered by Henry Lauv, who was the chief designer of GM's interior design studio. So when the engine failed at just 9,000 miles, fitted was a 283 cubic inch Chevrolet V8, which this car ran with for an extremely long amount of time. And that was up until more recent times when the car went through a complete restoration that debuted in 2005 at the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance with a correct Autovu engine number 60 that was fitted. In detail, this car is just so spectacular. All the little lines on the bodywork, all the details inside, the sculpted dashboard. It's so spectacular just to look at and appreciate. Now, this car sold after the auction. We're not sure for how much, but the estimated value was between 1.8 and 2.2 million US dollars. Gonna have a quick look at the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL beside that Fiat. And the reason why I like this car is it has really long-term previous family ownership. It's a highly original car that was only repainted once, and it retains its factory original red leather interior. These are the kinds of cars I especially like. You can get in them and use them without the anxiety of keeping perfect paint. Now, this car sold for 1.4 million US dollars, which is just as much or more than a fully restored example. And it goes to show just how much the market cherishes unrestored and original cars. Going to have a quick look at this Ferrari California Spyder. This is the 19th of 50 long wheelbase examples, and I particularly like this one because it's in its original black paint, red interior scheme, and it's one of the few with open headlights, and I think this car is just as much or even more dramatic than the short wheelbase car we saw at the beginning of this video. Now, this car sold for 5.6 million US dollars, which is a bargain compared to the short wheelbase, which sold for over $12 million more. So I'm not sure where the discrepancy is. Should these come up or should the short wheelbases come down? I'm not sure, but they really are similar cars. Can't skip over this Shelby. This is a 1966 427 SC Cobra chassis CSX 3036. Now, this is one of 29 semi-competition Cobras, which really were the same thing as the competition Cobras, and that explains why this one was raced in period in McDonald's livery, believe it or not, before it was comprehensively restored into the car we see here. Now, the work was done by Hall Fabrication in conjunction with Terry Scarborough and Top of the Hill Performance, who rebuilt the engine and noted 544 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. I can't believe this is the same design as the AC Ace that was produced in the 1950s. And this being the ultimate version, it sold for $3 million in Monterey. And the final car we'll feature from this incredible room is this 1967 Ferrari 365 California Spyder. So this really takes concepts of the 250 California Spyders we saw earlier, but really combines them with the premium Super America line with the much more appointed interiors, the larger Lampredi engines, and much more exclusive offerings. As an example, this is the 9th of only 14 examples built. So what we see here is the result of a Paul Russell & Company restoration that was completed in 2009 in the original color combination of Rosacina red over white leather. In Monterey, it failed to sell with an estimate of $2.75 to $3.25 million. All right, everybody, a second room with Sothebys. Let's see what's in there. Look at the Ferrari. Come on. Wow, what an incredible room. Let's see what we have in here. Undoubtedly, the center stage star of this room is this beautiful Ferrari 625 TRC. Now, Sothebys put out all the stops. It's in this beautiful light box up on this stand, looking like a piece of automotive art, and it is just truly spectacular. There isn't a wrong line on this car anywhere. So this happens to be a very special Ferrari 625 TRC, which initially started out as a 4-cylinder works racing car, but this one was upgraded by none other than John von Neumann, and John von Neumann fitted this in a second car with V12 engines. So these really are kind of a motivator or a predecessor to the 250 Testarossa that followed. And it really has the beautiful all-enveloping shape, whereas the Testarossa has that very interesting scaglietti design with the cutouts and the fenders, where I think this is actually a more svelte and beautiful option. In other words, it's the ultimate synthesis of Scaglietti's gorgeous lines with a roaring V12 that would motivate the 250 Testarossa in later years. Now, this car was extensively raced in California. 10 overall or class victories among 40 period race cars. It's an extremely important Ferrari for California racing history. Later in its career, this was fitted with a Chevrolet small block V8 until a restoration in the 1980s when an outside plug Ferrari V12 was fitted as per the hot rod specification that John von Neumann made back in period. Now, this car also was sold by Sotheby's with its matching original 4-cylinder 625 Grand Prix engines, one of only 2 fitted with the larger 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. So currently fitted, as we can see here, Gus is showing us with this 3-liter short block V12 engine, but accompanied by its matching numbers 4-cylinder 625 specification. This will likely be a car that will be refitted with its original engine in an upcoming restoration, although it would be really hard to rip out that V12. Look how glorious that looks there in the engine bay. Now, unfortunately, this car was one of the big no sales of the event. Sotheby's wanted $9 to $11 million for this example, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see this car in the future. I think there's more to the story. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the original engine back in this beautiful, diminutive little race car. Moving on from the Ferrari, here's a 1974 Porsche 911 Carrera RS 3.0. Yes, this is the homologation special, built to take the Carrera 3.0 RSR racing, and only 55 of these were made from the factory. This one was delivered new from the factory in the specification we see here. So Grand Prix white with gold lettering, and then that black kind of satin finish trim around the windows. This car originally led a life as a factory demonstration car, and it was really spared from the ravages of motorsport and has a fully documented history from new. More recently, it's been part of the famous white collection, where they just really maintained it. They corrected some of the paint and the rims back to original factory specifications. Sotheby's say this is arguably the best preserved 3.0 RS available. It's fitted with its matching numbers engine and gearbox, and that's probably why it sold for $2.37 million in Monterey. Coming up on one of my favorite 993 Porsches of all time, this is the 911 GT2 Clubsport. So I'm a big fan of the GT2. This is the car that RWB copied when he made his screw-mounted fender flares for the 993, as we see famously all over the world. But this is the original deal. They only made 194 of these street-legal GT2s, and only 33 had the specified Club Sport package with that roll cage we can see inside. Now, this one lived a long time in South Africa before being restored by GT Classics in the UK, which included a bare metal respray, a teardown and rebuild of the matching numbers engine, and they found a completely original body during the restoration with no signs of damage. So with its matching engine and gearbox and showing fewer than 30,000 kilometers on the odometer, this GT2 Clubsport sold for $2 million. With the last two Porsches really being celebrated for their lack of racing and use, this Shelby is quite the opposite. It's a 1964 Shelby 289 Cobra called the Snake Charmer, and that's because it was bought by Hank Williams at Norman Ford in Sonoma, California, and then continually and consistently modified and raced throughout Hank's entire life. So what we're looking at here is kind of a car with tons of history, tons of patina, really the kind of It's a rare artifact that really shouldn't be touched and just appreciated for what it is. So I hope the next custodian really respects what Hank was doing. Now, he was a legend. He drove this Cobra to work during the week and raced it on the weekends. He modified it extensively with an original Cobra removable hardtop. Yes, that's a very rare and original piece. He retrimmed the leather and vinyl, added a hood scoop, replaced the wire wheels with American 5-spoke type, and the man and the car were together for nearly 400 races, and it's driven over 140,000 miles. So a single owner 289 Cobra that's well loved and meticulously kept, offered by the family of the original owner with its original matching numbers, body and engine, never restored, only maintained. Look at this fabulous patina. That sold for $2.287 million in Monterey. Now here's a rare one, a 1993 Ferrari 512 TR Spyder. It's one of only two 512 TR conversions commissioned from Pinin Farina by Ferrari for the royal family of Brunei. Now this one has a striking color combination, metallic dark blue with blue leather interior and a blue canvas top. And this one has never really been driven. It has only 575 kilometers or 360 miles at the time of cataloging. Now, arm restoration in Chatham, Ontario, recently cosmetically recommissioned this car with a new canvas top and probably some paint touch-up, making it look utterly spectacular, but unfortunately it failed to meet the reserve in Monterey. Yes, I was so very fortunate to capture Fritz Burkhardt arriving at Sothebys with the Type 59 Pebble Beach winning Bugatti. He used the car the whole weekend, and I think him winning Pebble Beach was pretty much the best moment in all of concourse history. But yeah, what a nice sight. He's such an awesome guy. He showed us the engine bay, as you can see here, that 3.3 liter supercharged straight 8. What an incredible piece. I'm so happy that Fritz is an amazing person and is sharing these cars the way they were meant to be used, and that's driving them on the road. Yeah, blown away. Have a look at all the cars for sale and are going to be auctioned here in Portola Plaza. Wow. first car outside is this 1989 BMW E30 M3 Cecotto Edition. This is a Misano red over black leather interior car, and it's number 363 of 505 produced. And for me, one of the most distinguishing features of the Cecotto Edition is these 16-inch basket weave alloy wheels with metallic black paint on the inside. This car looks so spectacular. It was recently mechanically and cosmetically restored by the famous Michelotto shop in Turin, Italy, and having just 34,000 kilometers on the odometer, it sold for a huge price, $246,000. Certainly can't skip over this absolutely beautiful Alfa Romeo 6C. This one's from 1949. It's built on the 2500 Supersport chassis, but it has a very special Cabriolet bodywork by Pinin Farina. Now, Pinin Farina did about 123 of these cars, but only 3 with this very unusual front end treatment with the double grills on either side and a very distinct look that was really characterized from these cars from August 1942 onward. Now, this car was shipped to California really early in its life in 1953, and that's where it remained. So a lot of what we see here is originally preserved by the California climate, and I just love this green interior and all those amber knobs. Wow, that was really spectacular. Now, after a 41-year ownership in California, it was completely restored and found to be remarkably original and in rust-free condition, like I see all the California E-types. Now, this one retained its matching numbers engine. It was the subject of a meticulous 7-year restoration. Look at the interior here, but in Monterey, it failed to find a new home. I know it looks like we're pulling up on an Alfa Romeo here, but this is actually a 1956 Jaguar XK140 with coupe bodywork by Ghia. And this is the exact same bodywork that Ghia used on the Alfa Romeo 1900C. In fact, I saw another one in yellow at the Quail. I'll show you quickly what that looked like. But both of these share all the similar lines. The Alfa Romeo grille, kind of the fins at the back, which we'll see later, and the chrome adornments, which were kind of unique from car to car. So this car was sold new to California through the LA dealership run by Charles Hornberg, and it was likely restored in the 1990s by the Black Hawk Museum and displayed at Pebble Beach in 1992 and 1996. Now, coming around to the rear here, you can really see the rocket age design, those fins in the back, the integrated lights, very nicely done. Giovanni Savanuzzi lines are very interesting to look at. And yes, it does have a Jaguar badge up on the front there. The interior is just so wonderful. It's like an Italian sports car with the sculpted metal body, with the sculpted metal dashboard. Now, in Monterey, this car sold for $335,000 US. And on to my favorite car from the sale, this 1958 AC Ace-Bristol. This car is completely unrestored. I did a video just on this car going in and out in the engine bay interior. It's 100% original. I first knew about this car when Jim Taylor owned it. He was kind enough to send me photos as he received it. And it is, I think, without a doubt, the most original surviving AC Ace-Bristol. Now, the best part about this car is there it is, that surviving Bristol Aircraft Company engine, and here it is with all of its fits and finishes as it left with the factory. It's just such a wonderful piece. And in the interior here, we can see the original red upholstery, the red carpet. Carpets from 1958 are things that usually do not survive, so this is an extremely rare car. I am very jealous for whoever bought this from the sale. And yes, it did fetch $201,600 US in Monterey. All right, last car from the sale will be this 1953 Aston Martin DB24 drop head coupe. And this is one of only 2 with custom Bertone bodywork that really improve upon the Aston Martin DB2 lines. Now this one was particularly interesting. It was ordered through Bertone board member S.H. Arnaud, and Arnaud is known for many fabulous Aston Martins and Ferraris, all with custom bodywork. But this was really a gift to Charles A. Ward by his top sales representatives, and boy did they go the distance. This one was heavily appointed with fitted luggage, a custom picnic hamper, as well as many custom badges, including one under the hood that had the name of the sales managers who paid for this car for its first owner, Charles A. Ward. Looking at the interior here, I love the white piping and the extremely plush seats. And there it is. That's one of the plaques for Charles A. Ward, showing that S.H. Arnaud did in fact order it for him. An incredible piece in Monterey that sold for $967,000. All right, everybody, that does it for my review of ARM Sotheby's here in Monterey. So many amazing cars. I was really blown away and really want to take home that AC Ace-Bristol, that black all original one. But yeah, that's it for my review here. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.